Yo guys, what is happening? This is Rob of Rule of Two Review. Welcome back to the channel. And today, which is September 20th, 2019, is a pretty big release day for Nintendo with a huge game and even a new piece of hardware hitting the market. And that's what I wanted to talk about. So we obviously all know what it is that I'm talking about that releases today on Friday, September 20th. It is The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening and, of course, the Nintendo Switch Lite. There's obviously a lot of hype behind these two products. I mean, any new big game for any console is a big deal, and when it's a Zelda game, remake or not, it's an even bigger deal. Obviously, that's what I'm the most excited for. As far as the Nintendo Switch Lite, very exciting and interesting for a different reason, for 1,000 reasons I'm going to get into in this video. But I did want to kind of first talk about The Legend of Zelda and kind of my anticipation and my excitement for this game. I've brought it up several times since the game was first revealed, and I even discussed it when I sort of made a video about why I was excited for the game, but now that we're here on release day and it's in my hands, it's in my Switch, I've even played it for about an hour or so, I wanted to kind of further discuss it because a lot of you guys know I am a massive Zelda fan, of course. Most Nintendo fans and most gamers, I think, are massive Zelda fans. But Link's Awakening for the Game Boy is just weirdly one of the few Zelda games I never played. In 39 years of life, I never got my hands on that game. And it makes me very sad. I know a lot of people love it. It has a very strong legacy. Some people out there even say that it's their favorite of all the Zelda games, including one of my best friends, Dave. I know that it's been his favorite Zelda game pretty much since forever. And so, not ever having a chance to play it, I was really excited when I saw that this was one of the games that they decided to remake. And of course, the way that they're remaking it is so fantastic. I love the visual style and the scope of this game and what they've really just kind of shown it to be, you know? I very much appreciate the fact that it seems to be building off of what they did with A Link Between Worlds on the 3DS, which was a fantastic game. And this is very much, at least visually, kind of the same idea and approach, only taken to the next level, taking advantage of the new power of the Switch and all of these different things. Now that I've played it for probably an hour, maybe 2 hours, I'm just obviously very, very early on. I've done very little so far. I do love the visuals, I love the world, and I love the feel of this game. Some people have been talking about some frame rate issues with the game, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, there are frame rate issues, and I think it's kind of curious too, because I was seeing people tweet about that yesterday and a little bit this morning before I went to the gym and then picked up my copy from my local Walmart, and I was like, you know, I'm not really too worried about it. It's weird that there's frame rate stuff, but I guess I'll see what it's like. And I did think it was curious when I put the game in and first turned it on, there was no initial update. And that's good. You know, initially you think that's good. You don't want games to have to update every time you put them in, but I did expect an update. And luckily with the Switch, most updates, with the rare exception, take like 14 seconds. You know, it's like a really quick update, and then boom, Bob's your uncle, and you're ready to go, and the game is just going. But with Link's Awakening, it didn't do that. And then, of course, I start the game, and it seems like pretty much every time you step out of a house or a cave or something, that the first probably 4 or 5 seconds that you're in the world for after stepping out of that house, that the frame rate, it goes at like 10 frames per second. Like, it gets real slow and chuggy. But after that couple of seconds, everything smooths out and you're fine and you're good to go. So I think that it's just a matter of the way the game and the engine is built. Whenever you step into the world map, the game needs 4 or 5 seconds to fully load everything around you and to make it a smooth experience. And within that 5-second window of the game loading the world map, that's where you're going to get some lower frame rate. You'll also see it a little bit too when you go in to talk to someone, and as soon as you press A to talk or engage that person, the camera does this quick kind of zoom down in to focus on you two a little bit more closely. And I've seen frame rate dips with that as well. So that's all it is. I mean, let's be real. It's not ideal, and I think that they missed an opportunity to have maybe a day one patch download with this game to kind of fix or smooth this out. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, you guys. It's not a huge hindrance. Like, it's there. We can acknowledge it from a technical standpoint that part is unfortunate, but who cares? If all it really does is make the first 5 seconds of the world map kind of chuggy and then everything becomes silky, buttery smooth, it really doesn't matter. I mean, honestly, the gameplay is fine. The feel, the pace of combat, you know, I've made it to like the mysterious woods already, and I'm fighting some of the moblins, and it's just great. It's fun. It looks great. It feels great, and I'm just having a lot of I'm just having a blast knowing I have this huge Zelda game in front of me. People seem very excited, and, you know, like I tweeted earlier, we officially have 2 actual traditional Zelda games on the Nintendo Switch now. And that's really exciting. You know, I've got 2 cartridges that are both actual Zelda games. Yes, one is brand new. The other, of course, is a remake. But this remake is still a full-fledged actual Zelda experience, which is what's so cool about it. You know, and obviously there's been stuff like Hyrule Warriors and spin-offs, that Cadence of Hyrule game and stuff released. And then, you know, NES and Super NES Zelda games. But that's not the same as actual new Zelda games made for this console. And so it's really exciting to see. I am so excited to continue to go through this game and finally understand the whole thing of the windfish and the big-ass egg on top of that mountain that I've always known about, but I don't know anything actually about it. Like, I don't know what it is or what it means. I've just seen images of it like my whole life. And I'm really pumped to go through this game and finally discover that stuff. Now, if we switch over to the Nintendo Switch Lite, that's a different kind of big release for the day. And I have many opinions and thoughts on what's going on with the Switch Lite. Obviously, people are very excited. It's a new piece of Nintendo hardware. It's a revision or an update to the current Nintendo Switch. People love the Switch, so people are very excited for the Switch Lite. I am very curious to see how this thing will overall be received and how the launch and the release is going to go, and if this makes any sort of significant change or impact to Nintendo and their business model and their sales and success going forward, or if it makes absolutely no difference whatsoever, which is kind of more what I expect. I think that once we get through the initial, like, I don't know, week or 2 after the Switch Lite is out and people are talking about it and they're buying it and they're making their unboxing videos and they're saying, hey, I love my Switch Lite, or hey, I don't love my Switch Lite, whatever happens there, I think it'll just kind of fade away as far as excitement, and it's just going to be a thing that's out there. And I don't really see it making a big splash for Nintendo overall. And, you know, here on the launch day of the Switch Lite, I'll reiterate some of my points and my feelings about it that I think maybe a lot of you won't necessarily agree with, because I think most people are excited for the Switch Lite, but I'm really mixed on the whole concept of the Switch Lite, or at least I'm mixed and I'm kind of confused on people's excitement for the Switch Lite, if that makes more sense. I think that's more what it is. The Switch Lite isn't inherently a bad thing. I think it looks like a well-made device, and I know that there's a very specific kind of market that this console, that the Switch Lite specifically makes sense for. And so, for those people, whether it's for kids, parents who want to buy it for their kids, or non-Switch owners who've been waiting to buy a Switch and finally feel like a portable-only version is something that they're willing to plunk down on, for those people, I am thrilled and overjoyed that this product exists for you and gives you a reason to continue to enjoy Nintendo and Switch games and the Switch console and all that stuff. I think that's really great. But people who already have a Switch, who have been really excited to pick up a Switch Lite, I mean, I don't want to actually, like, take away your joy. I mean, far be it for me to tell you not to be excited. I love that you're excited for it. But it is confusing, right? I don't really understand what it is that you're excited or going to get out of the Switch Lite that you don't already have in your current Switch, you know? I think it's the fact that if you're excited for the Switch Lite, you're excited for portable Nintendo Switch gameplay. Oh my god, I can't wait to have a Switch Lite so I can play portable Nintendo Switch games. But then you also have your own Switch sitting right next to you in your house. And it's like, okay, well, it's not like the Switch Lite is adding portable play, whereas the current Switch doesn't allow for it. It's literally the same overall thing, only without a lot of stuff. I mean, the Switch Lite is the same thing as the Switch most of us already have, only it can't be played on a TV if, heaven forbid, you want to play it on your TV, and it's got a smaller screen. So even your visual gaming experience isn't going to be as substantial, right? It's not going to be as fulfilling, even because of that one reason, like the smaller screen. I feel like people aren't thinking about that. And again, I've brought it before, the lack of a kickstand. So if you want to try to have it sitting vertically and you're sitting back playing it, you would need to set it up against something, which is kind of a little bit of like a jerry-rigging kind of situation. And so, you know, again, I'm not trying to super come down on the Switch Lite because I think it's fine. It doesn't hurt me that the product exists, and I'm happy for people who want it. But it is confusing some of the excitement around it. And so I just think that whatever Nintendo is trying to accomplish with this thing, it's only going to appeal to a certain amount of people. And the people who are like so diehard that they may have a Switch or two, but they also now need to get a Switch Lite just because they're like, oh man, I can't wait to have this portable Switch Lite. I just think it's all I can think of. It's not really adding anything to your gaming experience if you already have a Switch. Again, if you don't have a Switch and you're excited for the Switch Lite, that's a different situation, and it makes a lot of sense because you'll finally have a Switch now. Even though you're going to be missing a lot by not being able to plug it into your TV. But for everyone who has a Switch, I don't know. I mean, am I crazy? I want to hear what you guys think about what I'm saying here, but I don't really understand being so actively excited to change your gaming experience to the console that allows you to do less. And also, I tweeted about this, and I don't remember if I ever brought this up on a video or not. I might have, but I'll reiterate it here just in case. Something else about the Switch Lite that I'm kind of worried about for people who are buying a Switch Lite, because I have the most zero interest in the Switch Lite possible, if you can't tell. But for other people who are going to be buying one, I'm worried for you, okay? I have concern for you. This comes from a place of concern and care about the quality of your gaming experience and the quality purchasing decisions you make with your money, okay? I'm worried that people who buy a Switch Lite might be really excited, thinking this is going to be great. I've got a Switch. I'm going to downgrade to a Switch Lite because I don't play on my TV ever, and it's going to be great. Or I'm going to buy a Switch Lite because I haven't bought one, and now I can buy one and save $100. Okay, so then you do that. You have your Switch Lite. Maybe you trade in your old Switch, and all you have is your Switch Lite, or you buy a Switch Lite as your first Nintendo Switch console, and you start playing these games, and you're like, wow, Breath of the Wild is amazing. Mario Odyssey is so much fun. Fire Emblem is incredible and engrossing. And Smash Brothers is like the best Smash ever. This is great. And you're loving these games, and then suddenly are some of these people going to maybe start to realize, oh man, I actually do wish I could play this beautiful Breath of the Wild, or this insanely crazy Super Smash Brothers, or Octopath Traveler on a TV. Do I want that? Do I miss that ability? I used to have that ability, and I sacrificed it for this new Switch Lite, and suddenly I'm missing the ability to play Breath of the Wild on the TV. Or I just picked up Link's Awakening. I wish I could play it on the TV. Pokemon comes out soon. I wish I could play it on the TV. And the fact that the Switch already is supposed to allow you to play on the TV means that it's going to hurt that much more for people who maybe miss that experience. That is my real concern. It's not the same as like buying a 3DS or a Game Boy or a Vita, and you play games made for those consoles portably. You're not going to think, man, it really stings that I can't play, this Uncharted game or Samus Returns on a TV. Because there's no other option. Those are games not meant to be played on a TV. But every game that releases on the Switch is meant to be played also on your TV. And you're going to want to see in big, beautiful colors the glory of something like Mario Odyssey or Fire Emblem or The Legend of Zelda. You want to see it on a TV. And so I don't know. It'll be curious to see if that's something that happens. I legitimately, sincerely worry for people, and I feel like people might end up regretting their buying decisions. Like the Nintendo Switch Lite might almost accidentally be a trap. And I say accidentally very purposefully, you guys, because it's not like Nintendo would be trying to pull one over on people. I think Nintendo's messaging has been fantastic with the Switch Lite, so there's no mystery with it. I just worry that people might not be forward-thinking enough to realize that they might be sacrificing something that they actually might miss once they actually move over to the Switch Lite, Obviously, for people who maybe keep their Nintendo Switch and buy a Nintendo Switch Lite as a secondary device, it's not as big of a concern, and so that's a different thing. You might have a different reason for buying the Switch Lite. But for other people who make those different decisions, I don't know. I guess it'll just be interesting to see. So I guess I didn't really mean for this to be like a negative talk about the Switch Lite. I just kind of wanted to talk about it here on release day and share my feelings. And honestly, I guess I just have these thoughts about it, so my conversation just naturally went this way. So I don't know. The Switch Lite is cool. It is a specific device for a specific person, and I think that that's great. So yeah, these are some of my thoughts. It's a big release day. Zelda Link's Awakening is super exciting for me. The Switch Lite is super exciting for other people, and for me is very interesting and something that I'm excited to see how it plays out and how people receive the Switch Lite and what it means. And, how this factors into maybe a Switch Pro next year. I mean, I don't know if that conversation will ever go away, the Switch Pro conversation. So I guess we'll see. Either way, that's it. That's September 20th, man. It's a big day. Zelda, new Switch. It's crazy. What do you guys think? Did you buy a Switch Lite? Are you happy with it or not? Are you playing The Legend of Zelda? Are you happy with it or not? Talk about all that stuff below. And I think this video would be a wrap. So that's it for everything. Thanks, of course, as always, for tuning in, guys. This, of course, is Rob of Rule of 2 Review, and I'll catch you next time on another video.